SleepApnea.org presents Portraits Living with Sleep Apnea, an interview with William Headapohl. What was life like before your diagnosis?
I didn't know it at the time, but back when I was a kid, I had sleep apnea. I was super skinny. I did really poorly in school. I had a twin sister, and so she got A's and I got D's, and we went all the way through grade school. And I just thought, I don't know what's wrong with me. I got in trouble for being hyperactive. That's what they called it at the time. And I had my tonsils out because everybody had their tonsils out in the sixth grade kind of thing. Suddenly, my grades went from D's to B's and then A's, and I did well in school after that. And I just thought, oh, I grew out of whatever problem I had.
Tell us about your diagnosis.
I went on a trip with my father when I was 35. We went to Australia together, and my father would stop breathing all night long. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know what that is, but it doesn't look good. Then my father had all these problems. He had diabetes, he had GERD, some depression, that kind of stuff. And so I thought, man, that guy's just unlucky, right? And then when I was in my 40s, I couldn't remember people's names at work, even though I had worked with them for 4 or 5 years. And so I went to be diagnosed, and they said, you have sleep apnea. And then that's when I learned all about it.
Tell us about your treatment.
I started out with a mouth guard and oral appliance, and then I thought, oh, I'm going to have surgery. And the surgery I had was kind of experimental, didn't really do the job. Then I ended up on CPAP. But I just realized that, I needed to treat myself so I didn't end up with the same problems my father had.
Tell us what works for you.
I think just being diligent, and getting over the stigma. When I first got my first CPAP machine, I was embarrassed because I didn't want people to think, oh, I'm sick. And so what worked for me was to go from being kind of a victim mentality to thinking that I'm like a victor, and I called myself the apnea avenger. To avenge something is to, crush it out with asymmetrical force. I kind of liked that idea. And so I actually went from just talking to a few people to trying to help many, many people, and that actually helped me.
What advice do you give to others?
It's sort of accepting it and then running with it. People ask me, and I'll give them some advice. First thing is you got to get over the denial aspect of it. It is really a huge denial issue because you're asleep, so you don't believe it. Even though people tell you that's happening, it's hard for you to believe. So you just have to get over that, and you have to believe people. And the second thing is, until a cure comes along, then you need to do the best you can. Just like with eyeglasses, you put your eyeglasses on, and then you take them off at night. You put your mask on, you take it off in the daytime. It's just a way of treating your problem until something else comes along, like LASIX. Now you don't have to wear eyeglasses. Well, something eventually we hope will come along for sleep apnea. But while we're waiting, we need to do something that's going to be helpful to us and others, because it's really hard on the family. It's hard on the extended family. Why do that to people? So my advice is treat yourself with whatever is available today.
Any last remarks?
I used to think there was a magic bullet, and I realized there's no magic bullet right now. It's a magic shotgun. And you have to try multiple things. Try combinations of things. I wear an oral appliance and a CPAP mask, or sometimes I wear an oral appliance and a nasal stent. And so different combinations work. Become an expert. Just really become an expert on the whole thing. Sometimes you get bad advice, so you become your own advocate.
Visit sleepapnea.org now to learn more.